So again, this is an open forum. Lectures are kind of boring. So ask questions. I'll do my best to help you. I've been doing this for a very long time. So if I can shine some light or give you some tactics or some strategies, or most importantly, what not to do, what not to waste your money on, what not to waste your time on, who not to work with, all the stuff that I had to learn the hard way by doing that, it's my pleasure to do so. I'm going to drop my LinkedIn in the chat also. If you want to connect with me, it's cool. Just say you come from Gig Radar Talk. I'm happy to connect with you as well. I post daily entrepreneurial VC insights Monday to Friday on my LinkedIn, and I try to make them entertaining and funny so it's not boring slop, which we'll get to because that's a big part of using content and AI and everything. You don't want to be the sloppy guy. So without further ado, I'm just going to dive into it. So yeah, I thank you for having me. My name's Sean Gold, lifelong entrepreneur. I do a lot of different things. I worked on a lot of different industries. I got pretty much my start was doing marketing and promotions for nightclubs here in Miami. I pretty much ran top grossing nightclubs in the world. I worked with some of the largest brands, MTV, Veuve Clicquot, Absolute, Budweiser, CW Network, iHeartRadio, so many different brands. Done content marketing, worked with probably close to 100 startups, worked with multiple VC funds. So I've been around the block. So when it comes to business, I mean, we're going to talk about agencies and whatnot, but I talk from a more universal background, just of growing and scaling and optimizing. I have a lot of different experience, both in the pre-AI world and now, and we're neck deep in the essentially the second industrial revolution, which I think everyone's going to need to take advantage of unless they're going to get left behind. So, yeah, and also I'm on Upwork as well. I've only been on it for just over a year, but in that time frame, with zero reviews, zero connections, not knowing how to do it, I've already attained, six-figure club, top 1% of freelancers, expert vetted, enterprise clients, all that stuff. So if you need help with that, I can tell you what worked for me, and I can give you again some more advice. So with that being said, we're going to dive right in, and we're going to talk about the team, because the team is the most important. Who you work with is going to determine if you're successful or not. It's that simple. Most people, they have a really nice resume on LinkedIn. They sound like they know what they're doing. They probably went to a good school, have a good degree, but at the end of the day, if they can't execute, it's all meaningless. And what do I mean about execution? Um, do they respond to an email in a normal amount of time? Do they respond to a WhatsApp message? If you have a Slack channel, do they respond to a DM on Slack? It sounds really simple until you realize that most people don't. Okay. And if you're going to build a business, especially with an agency, your clients are going to be needy and they're going to need things done by a certain date and they're going to have to review those items and you're going to have to go back and forth, which is pretty much what every agency has to deal with. There's very few clients that are just one and done. You're going to have to do a lot of hand holding. You're going to need the right people that are able to be on point. I've had so many people that want to work with me or that want to partner up, and they just can't answer an email or they can't answer a text message. It's one thing to say I'm busy and they get back to me a day later, but if you're going to be taking money and you're going to be building a business and you're actually going to use that business to, I don't know, pay your rent or pay your car payment or pay your electric bill or put money into the bank, you're going to need to deliver on what you promise. And that's going to be hard if you don't have the right team. I give you a perfect example. I had someone that I've known for a while. He wants to do something with me. So he reached out to me. We had a call, said, okay, great. Let me know what you think of this. Sent him an email, never got a response. I waited a week, sent the email again, no response. I sent a question mark a few days later, nothing. So that right there shows me you're not serious. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're involved in. I'm pretty busy myself. It takes 30 seconds to respond to a DM. It takes 30 seconds to send busy, talk later, or I'll handle this later. And most people can't do it. So even though they sound awesome, they could be the best CMO and they know all the tools and they know about how to do everything. If they can't deliver high quality work and they can't maintain an operational workflow that is going to support your growth, you're going to be, handicapped before you start. It's that simple. You cannot scale and you cannot grow your clients if the team of, let's say, three people one of which handles outbound, one of which handles the content, one of which handles the marketing. If two of them aren't working and it's only you that is, you're going to be handicapped. There's no point of investing in this. There's no point in getting to know these people. There's no point in actually trying to get more customers. You're going to just burn out. I've seen it happen. Okay. So you have to recruit people who actually know what they're doing. A lot of people like to recruit people that align with the vision, right? I don't care about the vision. The vision is meaningless. The people that have visions are usually, crooked politicians or con artists or grifters or crypto enthusiasts, things that don't matter. The vision is not going to get you the money. Okay. What's going to get you the money, what's going to get you the success, very simply put, is can you deliver, right? If I send you a DM or a WhatsApp, you will respond in a normal amount of time. Let's just say same day. If I give you a task and assign you a task, will you do that task in the same day? Or you can say, hey, I'm busy, I'm going to the dentist, whatever, I'll have it done tomorrow. Fine. But clients expect a minimum amount of professionalism. If you say you're going to have something to them for review a week before that it's actually due, you have to give that to them. And when they have changes, because they all do, you have to be able to execute on those changes. So that's like the very, very, very basic kind of, how should I put this? The basic requirements. Being thoughtful, being on point, responding to messages. It's that simple. I don't care if it's different time zones. I work across multiple continents. I have partners in different time zones. We're all on WhatsApp. We're all on Slack. Everybody knows what they're doing. You don't have to be a slave driver and expect a message at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, your time, but you should be in contact and you should be able to execute. It's that simple. Now, if you do find competent people, and that's a big if, okay, but you really should vet them. It's not something that's overnight. If some people you might click with, and it's like great, you can click with them, and then within a few weeks, few months, you know that this is the right person. Other times it takes years. I'm a partner in a venture fund. I got to know the team for close to 3 years before I committed to becoming a partner, just because I had to make sure that they knew what they were doing. They could respond to me, which they did. They had their own connections. I wasn't going to be doing everything myself. So it's a vetting process. Other people, we have one conversation, we start with a few little test clients, and then after that, we scale up from there. And as you grow, you're going to want to expand because you're going to need to expand because if it's no longer doing 4 or 5 clients a month. You want to get to the point where you can handle 10 clients, 20 clients, 50 clients. So when you do that, the hiring and the recruitment becomes more critical, right? So not only do you need people that respond, right? Not only do you need people that are professional, not only do you need people you can hand stuff off to that say, hey, can I have you client facing? Can you be on the Zoom? Can you do a talk? Can you just do this so I can focus on other things? You need people that have specialized skills that can do one thing really good. If you have other people that can do multiple things, great. But you want that one expert, that one person who knows how to execute campaigns on Facebook or knows how to execute campaigns on LinkedIn or, is a master of TikTok. If you're on Upwork or you're getting inbound, there's a lot of crazy requests. I'm sure you've seen it. I make fun of them all the time, but they're usually crazy requests where the client is looking for someone that knows how to do, knows how to go viral on TikTok. So by week one, you'll have 1 million followers. Can also apply that to Instagram. Can also apply that to their LinkedIn and to their business. They can go from zero to $1 million in 60 days. You should be proficient in working with Fortune 100 companies. You should be proficient in working with clients that have been featured in national media because guess what? You're also going to need to get them in national media and they don't want to pay. It should be earned media. So there's a lot of crazy requests. I don't respond to any of those because they're crazy. But real clients are going to expect that over time and they're going to hope that you can deliver on that, right? It's not going to be within a week. They're going to understand that, hey, you have a team, the team needs time to work, the team needs people to execute. But once that team has that execution enabled, and once they have that ability and the client is happy, they're going to expect, okay, do you think by Q2 or Q3 of working together, you can do this for me or you can do that? And as long as you're honest about it and straightforward, I mean, it's pretty easy to retain a client. They churn faster when the team sucks. They churn really fast when they're supposed to be on a call and your team doesn't show, or your team is behind, whatever that means, or your team just can't deliver. So you want to avoid that. So it's up to you as you're scaling and building out, whether it's your startup, whether it's your agency, to really be a scary judge of talent and really make sure that this is the right person for you because it's two problems that you face and they're very big. One is finding sane clients that are going to be with you for a long time, that pay all your bills and that are going to evangelize you and recommend you to their network, and finding sane people that are always going to be there for you and have your back and that you can count on. It sounds easy. Just put a request out on Upwork or put a request out on TopTal or whatever you want to use, but you're gonna have to vet people. And with Upwork, because I use it both as a client and I use it for as a business. So as a client, I mean, it sucks because I will say, okay, this is what I need from an individual or a group or an agency to handle. And I'll do something like no AI messages, put the word Sean Gold at the bottom. So I know you read this. And 90% of the messages won't do it because they're AI generated. They won't read it. They just see that I have a pulse and they'll send me the same GPT generated message, which doesn't even, address what I'm after. So you want to avoid that. And you want to avoid your team doing that. And you want to have real people and human people and people that know how to scale and that want to scale and that want more work because as you're successful, they're successful and that they're hungry for growth and that they're hungry to actually drive pipeline, which I'll get to because that's a big part. If you don't have a pipeline, then you don't have a business. I mean, listen, one of the largest agencies, okay, BBDO, it's a global ad agency. I've worked with them before. Okay, they have multiple departments, but they make sure that every person on the team in every different department knows what they're doing so that it just goes up a chain of command. Okay, this person's going to handle this person's going to handle this, so that when they give it to the client, because they charge a lot of money, it's perfect. It's as perfect as it can be. Now, you don't have to have the resources in multiple departments or locations. You just need to have two or three people that you trust, that are competent, that can handle what they need to handle so that the client is happy. It is all about the client. The client will churn faster than you think if they are unhappy with one little thing and if you don't address it. Minor mistakes lead them looking for somebody else. Right now, there are so many different groups they can go out to, so many different agencies. They can probably, even if they're competent enough, start doing a lot of it themselves because of AI. And you don't want that happening because when that happens, it hurts everybody. They say, I don't want to work with an agency ever again, or I don't want to work with an individual ever again. I'm going to do it myself. And then it kind of hurts the entire ecosystem. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about teams. I'm going to just check the chat if there's any questions, because if there are, I'll address them. Um, oh, good. We have a question. So yeah, if you have them, just drop. So, okay, great. Multiple questions. Keep them going. I don't want to keep talking about myself and all that. I'd rather answer your questions. Okay, what about remote workers in different time zones? How many hours is okay to respond? 24 hours? Yeah, again, something normal. Okay. If you're in Southeast Asia, okay, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'd expect you to at least be up till midnight to be close to EST. But if not, I'm sure that later today at 9 o'clock my time, which is EST, or 9 a.m. your time, you'll respond. It's all in the same day. What we don't want happening is that I send something to get done on Monday and you don't get to it till Friday or Thursday, right? That's the worst thing that can happen. It will kill you. It's not really momentum. It's just getting things done, right? So you don't have to be like set 100% to EST. You don't have to be set 100% to this time zone or that time zone. You just have to be able to execute and get things done. Okay. One of my largest clients is a digital nomad. He's in China. Okay. So I don't really talk to him until 9 to midnight my time, which is fine. Or if I wake up and it's like 10 a.m. around this time, I'll talk to him. But after pretty much 11 a.m. Eastern, I don't talk to him until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But we still get everything done. Okay. One of my partners is in Eastern Europe. Again, 6 hours ahead. We still get everything done. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. Just as soon as you wake up and you start your day, whether whatever time zone you're in, or you go to the remote work cafe or whatever, as soon as you open your laptop, respond to the message or do your work. It's that simple. Okay. And if you can't get it done in a certain amount of time, either you tell them or you say, I'm going to stay up later, wake up early. It's that simple. It's a very normal business practice. And if you can't do it, then you shouldn't be in this game. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. My man, Kevin Finley, what's up, Kevin, is here. How do you play offense? It's a two-part question. Okay, fine. in regards to preventing churn, or like you said, making sure the client doesn't get the ick. I don't know what that means, probably some Gen Z thing, or something small, what that is bothering them unbeknownst to you that causes them to churn. Okay. So what I've learned is that no matter how good you are and how many offerings you have and how good your results are and the revenue and the connections and the follower count, people have different economic situations, and businesses will churn because maybe they lost their clients, maybe they don't want to do it anymore, maybe they're not seeing the results, maybe the tariffs are having an effect. There's a variety of different reasons, and you can't stop it. What you can do, as far as just playing offense, is one, always being available, right? Always asking if there's anything you need. Always just saying, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Or, "Hey, how can I add?" I don't like to use the term "how can I add value," because when someone says to me, I want to subtract the value by subtracting them from my life. But you can say, "Hey, what more do you need?" And plug them into your network. Like with a lot of my clients, I plug them into podcasts, or I plug them into different blogs. I just get them, SEO backlinking presence, and I get them good connections because it takes 30 seconds for me to do it. It makes them happy. It gives them a lot of value. There's no additional cost. So clients tend to stay with me for a while. But at the end of the day, you can either feel that they're not really wanting to do it anymore because they're not responding as quick as they should be. That's kind of a red flag. Or they're becoming late with the payment. That's kind of a red flag. You'll be able to kind of understand and maneuver if you do this long enough. But it just people churn out. I had one client that was one of my best clients. I had him for nearly a year. He was so good, it was seamless. I talked to him once for 10 minutes, and after that, it was just asynchronous, not a Slack channel. We just talked through email once a month. Every week I would deliver his content. Once a month he would tell me to switch it up and maybe include some emojis or maybe include bullet points, whatever he wants. But he turned out, and he said it's just that we want to pause it right now. This was last month. He said hit me back in mid-June because we're probably going to restart it. So it's fine. I had that happen with another client, which is a large client of mine, that we started working together last April. He churned out around July. We started working again together in November, and now it's getting into May, and we're still working together. So it happens. You can't stop churn, whether you're an agency or a startup. But what you can do is prolong your client to stay with you and keep them happy for as long as possible, so that even if they do churn out, they can come back to you 6 months later, a year later, 18 months later, or they could recommend someone to you. Case in point, so I had a startup churn out, and I knew they were going to churn because they didn't know what they were doing. Again, you can tell if you do this long enough. But one of their clients they gave to me just because, hey, we know we were supposed to be a big thing. We only worked together 3 weeks. This client is going to be good for you, and that client is awesome, right? So yeah, it's kind of an even Steven. I lost one, but I gained another, and this client actually is, I don't want to be mean, it's a little more competent, a little more resourceful. It's overall a better client. So you just have to be flexible, and you have to be able to maneuver when it comes to churn and when it comes to retaining clients. Any other questions? I'll answer them. If not, I'm going to keep talking. But yeah, drop your questions in the chat. Like I said, I'm here all day. Not all day. I'm here for another half an hour, but I'm happy to answer them. Okay, so we're going to get to the next part, the fun part, optimizing workflow. If you're doing this only on Google Sheets, you are going to be operating at a disadvantage. Okay. There are a variety of tools right now that all of them are different, but they all kind of do the same thing that are going to make your life easier. There's Monday.com. I don't particularly like it. There's Asana. I never really used it. There's Trello. It's okay. My personal favorite is Airtable. Okay. Airtable is the best one. I use Airtable for everything. I recommend looking into it. It will streamline your agency work. It will streamline everything. It'll allow you to keep track to everything. If you have multiple people that are competent, they can log into it and they can submit their work for you to review, and they can, you can have a list of things to get done and you can bang them out. So I'm a big Airtable fan. I don't work with them. Not an investor. I just like them, right? It makes my life easier. Slack is my go-to for communications. Discord, I think, is too wonky. WhatsApp is okay, but WhatsApp is more of a person-to-person, client-to-client sending text messages. It's not good for the entire team to work on. I think Slack is the way to go. I think Slack is game changing. I have multiple channels for all the agencies I work with. and individual client channels on Slack. It makes it simple. It's definitely something that everyone should be using. Again, these things are easy to set up. They're easy to use. They're not expensive, and you can write them off if they are as a business expense. So don't let it hold you back. So you have to have the right tools in place, and then everything else is kind of parity, right? If you're using Google Sheets, it's the same as Excel. If you're using Google Docs, it's the same as Notion. Yeah, they have little different things you could add to it, fine. But you want to have all these tools that you can share, that you can work async with, and that you could just be able to communicate and deliver the work on, right? Back and forth with your team. I think email is the slowest. I hate email. I love email, but I hate email as far as teamwork because it takes too long. There's too many people on a chain, and you have to move fast if you want to scale. You cannot be going back and forth in an email with your team while you have clients. And, oh, I got to CC him. Oh, BCC him. Just put everything in a Slack channel. That's how every agency I work with does it. From the really small agencies of just like 2 or 3 people to the big ones, right? That handle giant clients across the board, publicly traded companies as clients. It's all about using Airtable, Slack. Again, some of them use Trello. I don't really like Trello. It's fine. It's more of a design thing. Monday.com's okay. Asana's okay. But you want to do this because your team needs the right tools, right? If you have a good team and they know what they're doing, they're not going to bug you. They're going to just hit the button in Airtable that says submit work. You're going to get a notification. You don't have to talk to them. All you have to do is review it and then just hit them in Slack and say, got it, we're done. Boom, go on to the next client, go on to the next task. That to me, at least from doing this for as long as I've been doing and working with so many agencies, that to me is the ideal way of doing things. Just fast, efficient, getting things done, moving the needle, keeping things going forward, and just it aligns everything together. Okay, and you know what's due for the client. You can have a client profile that everyone could read. You could have their persona. You could have your ICP. You could have their ICP. You could just have everything in one place that your team can access, and everyone could do it on their own without you having to hold their hand. So the optimizing workflow is a big thing. Okay, and then you want to have the structure. Okay, structure is really important. You want to just be able to outsource everything that you can so you could focus on the client. Okay. There's plenty of new AI tools coming out. I can't even keep track of them. But if you're not using, say, Perplexity for research, ChatGPT for brainstorming, Claude for also doing market research and defining ICPs, I mean, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Other people are. You have to balance it though, and I'll get to that when I talk about content, is that you don't want AI to do the work because it's going to be sloppy. Smart people can see through it. Okay. And your clients, if they're going to be spending 5 or 6 figures with you, are smart people. They're not going to be spending $50 a week with you. Those are the kind of clients you'll get just from using AI slop. But real clients, they understand the power of AI. They understand that you need to use it to deliver the fast results and allowing you to scale and allowing them to scale. They understand it. So you want to basically have AI included in your agency structure. You play around with all the tools. Spend a day. They're all free unless you want to pay the $20 a month or $30 a month to do it. And again, $20 a month to ChatGPT is probably one of the best investments you'll make, as long as it's not creating slop content. So keep that in mind. So now we're going to get to the fun part of called building pipe. But before we get to that, I want to see if there's any more in the chat. Any more questions? Okay, here we go. Good. Don't say last question. Keep them coming. You're a writer and have a huge background as an entrepreneur. If we combine them, which book would you recommend for first-time founder or new agency owner? Wow, which book? So it's funny because listen, I've written 4 books, right? 2 of them were number one on Amazon. I had a number one entrepreneurship book. I had a number one marketing book when I launched. This is years ago, so they're obsolete already. So don't have to go buy my book because it's gonna be obsolete. This is in a pre TikTok era, pre AI era. But books in general, I mean, it really depends on what your goal is because most entrepreneurship books are garbage. I'm sorry. They have somebody on the cover with the ugly face looking up into the distance, and they tell you really common knowledge that you can actually get through AI tools right now or your own research. So the books I read are books kind of on psychology, there are books on philosophy, there are books on personal growth. I don't really read a lot of business books anymore. When I did, I read Seth Godin books. Tribe of Mentors. No, that's not Seth Godin. That was the other guy, the 40-hour work week guy. I forget. He had Tribe of Mentors. That was okay. Tim Ferriss, that's what it was. But there's Seth Godin and Purple Cow. All marketers are liars. They're old books, but as I was doing my nightlife, and this is again old school, I was reading them. One of my favorite entrepreneurship books. Again, it's old. Nobody's ever heard of it. I think it's amazing. It's called Lucky or Smart. It's very, very thin. You will read it in one sitting and be annoyed that you paid the $8 on Amazon for it. But it's worth it, at least in my opinion. I'm the only person that's ever read it. So I give it 2 thumbs up. It's definitely the best book on entrepreneurship that you should read because it's not written by someone that tells you to wake up at 4 in the morning, eat a whole fried chicken, work out, meditate, and then start your day and have a 20-hour work day. It's written by kind of someone like me that's kind of a slacker and how he made all the mistakes, but he still sold his company for like $60 million and how we did it. And it's definitely worth checking out. So lucky or smart, 2 thumbs up. Um, Last question. Tell us about the AI tools you use to optimize your personal life to make your businesses, probably specific ones. Okay, that's a great question. So my go-to is ChatGPT. Now, keep in mind when I say go-to, I don't say here's a prompt. Okay, your clients can do prompts. Instead, you need to use it and train it and create your own models, right? So it's time consuming. It's a little annoying. It doesn't come out 100%. You still need a human in the loop, but you can train your own GPT models. You can train your own personas. You can do it for research. I'm really trying to break ChatGPT and I haven't broken it yet. The only thing that doesn't work is if you ask it really like crazy questions, like how do I escape from a maximum security prison? And it says I can't answer that. But if you can upload audio, right? I'm doing a new brand with a YouTube channel and I have a narrator and all that stuff. And I can upload the narrator's audio and it can give me feedback. I can upload music. I can upload video. It's really crazy what it can do. So yeah, I think that you really need to explore it and see what you can build out. And again, not just like help me think of this, because it's going to give you basic answers, right? Go deep, go as deep as you can, and then get a second opinion. Go to Perplexity. Perplexity gives you different answers. Perplexity gives you the sources. Combine them, see what happens. Go to Claude, play around with Claude. Use some tools no one's heard of. I worked with the AI content tool called Copyfrog. Copyfrog's pretty dope. Play around with Copyfrog. I like their images. Before the Studio Ghibli update from ChatGPT, Copyfrog had a lot of cool images that it could generate. So there's a lot of different tools, but please, you have to test them. Um, I played around with a lot of hype tools. Okay, DeepSeek, everybody went crazy for that came out of China. Manus, which everyone went crazy for that came out of China. The problem with these AI tools is that if you get caught up in the hype and you don't test them, it's going to be costly for you. Okay, what do I mean by that? I give every AI tool one question before I start using them. Before I pay, before I sign up, one question. I go, who is Sean Gold? And then I read what it says about me. Now, Perplexity was the best answer I got because my picture came up, my podcast, my quotes, everything came up. ChatGPT at the time was a close second. But DeepSeek, the Sputnik moment, and Manus, the Sputnik moment, were terrible. The information was wrong. It said I grew up on the West Coast. It said I was engaged in all these different brands I never worked with. It just made up information. You need to have an AI tool that understands you, what you need in your clients, because you're going to have to double check the information and double check the sources, or you're going to end up looking very foolish. So any tool you use, type in a simple question. If there's not a lot of information about you, your company, your agency, type in a historical question. Something very simple, right? Tell me about, Winston Churchill. Tell me about, you know, JFK. Just ask the questions and see. So you can, if you know your information, you'll get it. And if not, you can backtrack with a Wikipedia or your own sources to make sure. You just want to make sure these tools are not making mistakes. Your clients will see them. Some of them will be understanding because they can tell you use AI with this, but it has to be right. Some of them will hate you because they'll say, I don't want any AI. So yeah, good questions. Keep asking. I'm here for another 25 minutes. Okay. So yes, the one thing you're going to do once you have a team, once you're optimized, once you have all the tools is build out your pipe, AKA your pipeline. Building pipe is the hardest thing you're going to do. It's annoying. I work with giant companies that still have to build pipe. Okay. You have to figure out a method that works for you, right? Now, If it's Upwork, you need to identify the clients that essentially is your perfect client fit, right? It's not $5 an hour, I'm assuming. Okay. I'm sure it's probably more along the lines of 50, 75, 100 people that spend actual money. With that being said, you want to be able to generate your own pipe and your own leads. So I'll just keep using Upwork because Upwork is just kind of it's very useful, but let's not kid ourselves. It's like a ghetto. Okay. You get all sorts of people. Nobody know you don't know who's real. You have to really vet them. You have to make sure that if they're on Upwork, they spent money before. You can tell their hourly rate. You can see their reviews. You have to do your research before firing off your outreach message. As far as that's what I'm doing to build pipe. Because if you have someone in your agency that their whole goal is to build your pipe, they're gonna say, I sent out 50 Upwork messages. Okay, great. Five of them probably respond, and out of those five, four of them are going to say you're too expensive. That's not building pipe. Same thing I see it with LinkedIn outreach. People like to just spam on LinkedIn. Trust me, I get tons of spam, tons of it. Some of it's really bad. When I talk about AI tools, I mean like let's insert the brackets, insert company name. You're supposed to actually do that yourself, not just copy and paste. So you want to have a message that is tailored to your audience. You want to do research on your audience. You want to identify your audience, your ideal customer persona, your ICP, and you want to have a strategy that works. Some people run ads. I don't recommend it. I think ads are a waste of time. I think you're going to burn through your resources super quickly. And if you're not running omni-channel ads, which means Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you're not going to get the right response that you need. So how do you do it? It's going to suck. You're not going to like this. But as someone that scaled up a business to doing, millions in revenue, and I was doing nightlife and I had thousands of people in my phone and in my network, it's one customer at a time. It's that simple. It's that easy. It's that difficult. You have to build it out one person at a time. You have to treat that one person, whether they're a new client or an old client, treat them like you're your first client, as in they're precious. You can't afford to lose them. You need them. You don't want them to churn. You will go above and beyond for them. You will do everything they ask you to do. You will literally make sure that if anything comes to mind of what they need, you pop in so they could recommend you. All my businesses were built on referrals. It's really that simple. People liked what I did and they said, Here, I know a guy. There's an old quote, and I'm sure you've heard it. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's wrong. I hate that quote. Take that and throw it out the window. It's who knows you. Very simple. Oh, hey, you need that done? Well, I know Sean. Here's his email. Here's his LinkedIn. Check him out. That is what is the best driver of pipeline. The second best, finding out who in your network that you know that's warm that you could reach out to and ask, because it's not going to be a spam message. Hey, how's it going? This is what I'm doing now. I'm building this out. If you or your company or anyone you need anything done, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM. Happy to talk to them. The next, cold outreach. Very tough, very annoying. The people you're going after are going to essentially see through it because they get hit with cold outreach every day. And unless you have someone that you could partner with that knows people that your agency that has needs that your agency could cover, it's going to be a long slog, right? The one good thing about using a platform like Upwork is that people know specifically what they want, so you could go and you could capitalize on that because they know what they want, and they're willing to pay at least most times. But building pipe is that needs to be your 100% goal is building pipe. It's and yes, it's how should I put this? Quantity has its own quality. So you're going to have to keep reaching out. But if you can find one client that turns into a six-figure relationship, then all of that work, all of those spent Upwork connections, all of that spent time will be worth it. You just need one. Or you can get a few that are smaller, but that stay with you and don't churn. You really need to focus on it. I mean, there's no replacement for building pipe. I see people that want to hire people to build the pipe. It never works. Okay. People want the relationship with you. Yes, your agency, of course, good reputation, but they want the relationship with the person that they're going to be working with and talking with daily or weekly. And that comes from you, not the person, not Steve that you hired to get the pipeline. If you're going to build out your pipeline, use the right tools, right? I never really used Salesforce. I have used HubSpot, but you want something like that. So just that you have it in there. But you want to have a process, again, going back to optimizing your agency, you want to have a process that lets you know where people are at. And you don't just want to have like, here's who I think I should go after because of this is what the ICPs are, and I'll just here's a little like guidebook for myself or a few bullet points. No, right? You want to use it to track, monitor, and know who's being closed and know who's coming back, and if it's going to be fouling back in a month, 3 months, whatever the case may be, right? So you need the right tools and you need to generate pipeline. And if you're going to be generating pipeline, you want to be selling at a good cost, right? Um, doesn't have to be premium. You don't need to have crazy $50,000 a month prices that very few people are going to pay. Okay. You want to sell the expertise. That's number one. It's the trust and the expertise. Once they start seeing the work, they're going to see the results, right? They're going to be happy. And as long as they're happy, you can take their logo, put it on your website, or you can put it in your outreach message and you can brag about it. You want to have braggable wins. You want to be able to show that you gave them, increased revenue, increased awareness, increased, brand knowledge, whatever, right? You want to give them exceptional results, and exceptional results come at a premium price. If you're going to price it low, you're going to, and at a bottom feeder price, $5 an hour, $10 an hour, you're going to attract low clients. It's that simple. Not everyone is going to be able to pay your price. It's fine. You're a professional angler. You want whales. You want big fish. No guppies. No tiny fish. Big fish. Sea monsters. Krakens. That's who you want. Okay. And having that mindset and that premium pricing is who you're going to attract. And don't negotiate. Yes, if there's going to be a bulk deal, long term thing, and you want to knock off 5 to 10% because this is going to be a client that's going to last 6 months plus, fine. But if someone says, "Oh, I love you, but your rates are just too high. I want $10 an hour, but I'll give you tons of work," run. People like that are never good. You're never going to get rich from them. You're never going to get successful. And that brings it to my next point is you have to know when to walk away. Okay. A lot of people are in such a hurry to scale their operations, to scale their client list, to scale their earnings, to scale their personal wealth, that they will enter into a nightmare relationship. I give you a perfect example. I had an agency that wanted to work with me because their user base was venture capitalists. Great, I'm a venture capitalist. I know that whole industry, back to front, all of it. The problem was this agency founder. How should I put this? Was insane. Okay, I don't mean insane that like the work wasn't good. I mean insane that was like I don't like how you use too many commas. Like they had a problem with the English language. Okay. They had a problem with little things that were so minuscule that you never think of because everyone that you've ever worked with in your entire business history never had a problem. And it was just like it became more effort than it was worth. It became more stress. So I kept it cool. Great. They found someone else that was probably cheaper. It worked out for the best because that kind of person added stress that you don't need. I don't really work with stressful people. I don't need stress. I don't like it. Who does? But you want to make sure that you don't enter into this relationship where you're stuck. You're stuck with someone that when you open your laptop, when you get up, no matter what time zone you're in, and you check your email or your Slack and you see their name and you see their 50,000 changes, even though there's only 2 paragraphs you wrote for them as a test, it's going to affect you. It's going to drain you. You're not going to want to do this anymore. So, yeah, there's going to be people that are less than ideal, but you have to navigate who's going to be a nightmare and who you're going to just run for the hills from. Um, so yeah, well, there's more questions in the chat. I'm gonna just drop it. Hope that's fine. Okay, what is the most important part of pipeline for a tech startup? That is the most important part. Your pipeline is the most important part because if you're a tech startup, then I assume you're gonna want to go after investors to get funding. Investors are not really going to care about anything, especially at the early stage, unless you're an exited founder or unless you have a really good traction and metrics. How do you get those traction and metrics as $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $50,000 a month, 400,000 people on a wait list? That's your pipeline, right? Everything you do is building out your pipeline. Everything. In B2B, for example, there's something called multi-threading, going after the right people, operating above the power line. Lot if you're a tech and you're going after enterprise clients, your sales cycle and your deal cycle is going to be like months. It could be years, right, to get a 6 figure or a 7 figure deal. It's not fun. And one person could derail it if you don't hit the right people in your pipe. One person could be like, huh, this is the first I'm hearing about it. we should go with my friend that we've been using for 2 years. He's coming out with new features. Well, he's already proven. Who cares about the new tech startup? Derails you. So you have to know who to talk with. You have to identify your ICP. You have to not be cringy. Oh, you can't be cringy. I'm going to get to that. That'll be the last point that we end on is not being cringy with AI sales slop and outreach. Um, so yeah, it's the most important part. You need to be dedicated to your pipeline. You need to be dedicated to just every day, 7 days a week. Obviously, you're not going to respond on the weekend, but that doesn't mean you're not working on it. You really need to build it out. Getting the first client's the hardest. So you can get one, you can get five. You can get five, you can get 10. You get five, you can get 100. It's that simple. It's getting one. So, and that's for everybody. I don't care what business is. So okay, Deshaun, the ick is synonymous with cringe. Okay, there you go. The ick. I'm not saying that. I'm not using it. I don't care if it's a Gen Z thing right now. I'm saying cringe. Um, so yeah, all right. So we have another 14 minutes. So we talked about premium pricing. Okay. Yeah, and then just real quick, I'll talk about, cross-selling so you can offer more services and synergies, right? So if your client, let's say for instance, because I do a lot of content, let's say, hey, Sean, your content's great, but I need someone that can handle SEO, right? Not the content, but I need someone that knows how to use, SEMrush and can get me all the keywords so I can rank. Okay, well, in the agency, you should have someone that is an SEO expert. So it's like, hey, don't leave. We already have someone. Let me put you in touch because now you're upselling them. Now that one need they had, that one client becomes more valuable, right? And this could be for other things such as, incorporating AI tools into their business or being at the forefront of helping them generate more revenue or helping them upsell. It's different things, but you just want to have that ability to say, hey, I can handle this, right? If you're just starting out and it's just you, because again, when I was starting out, I had someone that needed help with the pitch deck, right? Pitch deck's what I do, no problem. And I say, Sean, wow, you're really good. You rewrote this. Do you know someone that can handle all our content needs? We have website, we have LinkedIn, we have other social. I said, yeah, I can do it. Okay, great. Boom. So now it went from a one-time job to a monthly job. Revenue goes up. So you want to be able to have that, that synergy across, I don't want to say departments because it's just a few people, whatever, but that synergy across your groups, that synergy across the people you work with, if you can't handle it yourself. I'm usually a one-stop shop for everything as far as content and connections. But if it starts getting technical, if it starts getting to things I've never worked with or I can't understand, I either bring them into somebody that I have or I make a recommendation to somebody that I know. I partner with a lot of people. If you have an agency and you're looking to partner, I'm just a content guy, but I'm sure you have other things you offer that I can give to my clients. Add me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. I'll see what I can do to help you. I can't promise anything. I can just promise you that leads I get, I want to keep them happy. So I'll just send them to you. So now we come to the last but not least, but my favorite part, utilizing content and personal branding to close your deals, build your authority, and show that you're not, as Kevin says, in with the ick. It even sounds terrible. Okay, so if nobody knows who you are, your agency is, it's not going to be good. Okay, building content and building your brand is the easiest thing. It's important. You can do it on your own, or you can work with me to do it, but it's there. The best tool and the best place to do it is LinkedIn. It's that simple. Doing it on Facebook, great. Seventh grade lab partner is not going to care. Doing it on Instagram, if you have a product you're selling, cool, but your audience probably is going to live on Instagram unless you're offering as an agency Instagram services or TikTok services. It's LinkedIn. I'll give you some quick LinkedIn statistics. LinkedIn is known as the cringeworthy platform. It's that simple. You can go to your feed and see what people learned about B2B sales from eating breakfast this morning, which is all terrible and fake and stupid and things that didn't happen, but that's what people like to write. I don't know why. But LinkedIn has 1.5 billion users. Wow. Someone in the chat tell me how many zeros that is. But only another 134 million people actually log in and use the platform. So if you're posting on LinkedIn a few times a week, you're already in the top 1%. If you're posting 5 times a week, you're already an expert, right? The more you post, the better. Twice a day is all you need. It's not Twitter. Don't have to post 75,000 times a day. And that's where people that are decision makers, as in they have a budget, that's where they live, right? So if you're posting content that has nothing to do with your agency or your entrepreneurial endeavors or your startup or what you do, you're missing out. You're leaving money on the table, right? Um, a big part of the building the personal brand and a big part about being on LinkedIn is that not everybody likes, not everybody comments. They're called lurkers, but lurkers drive more business, at least in my experience, than the people that are commenting all the time saying, haha, this is so funny. I just say that because I write funny content. Kevin knows, drop a like. People that I've talked to say, I love your work. I love your posts. A lot of them even preface the first call with, I hope I'm not a subject of your post. They see it, they read it. And because they see that, wow, your LinkedIn writing is good. Wow, it's top notch. I want my LinkedIn writing to be that. I want my blogs to be like that. I want to do all that. So essentially, you have to do it. I mean, you just have to do it, but you can't do it where it's like Chat GPT, write me 10 things everyone should know about B2B marketing operating above the power line. It's going to come out terrible. It's going to come out garbage. You don't want that. Again, your clients are smart. They want to work with someone that's smart. And what's happening, and as I personally seeing that, is that you can post about any subject you want on LinkedIn because thanks to AI, you can become an expert or a thought leader. Great. When you talk to your client, they're probably going to ask you about a specific post. And because you don't have the knowledge of it and you didn't write it and you just copied and pasted to be like, my pipeline building branding is done, you're going to look foolish and they're going to go with somebody else. So you have to know what you're talking about. You can use AI tools to enhance it. You'll learn what not to do as far as your AI, because again, it's very easy to pick up. I'll give you a few things that the AI prompts generate that I can instantly tell that it's AI slop. Here's the truth. Here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Anything that has multiple dash symbols, way too many bulleted lists. That's just the start. There are things that people, again, smart people will see, clients don't want. So you have to have that human ability in your own personal branding. It's that simple. And you have to be committed to this. Be known for something. Be known as the agency that covers this niche. Talk about wins, but don't come off as a cringy way. Talk about mistakes people make. Talk about the issues that people face. Talk about why your hires are acting foolish. Talk about the things that people are doing wrong. I mean, again, not only do I work with these agencies, but I handle their personal content. So I could talk at length about like what senior vice presidents do their first 90 days that are wrong, why building your outbound is wrong, why your pipeline sucks, why you're multi-threading the wrong way, all these things. But at the same time, because I work with so many different other clients, I can talk about the current state of venture capital. I can talk about the AI tools. I can talk about just entrepreneurship in general. I can talk about so many different things because I live it. I live the material. I'm the old school Chat GPT. I don't need the prompt. I can think of it in myself, write it, and then GPT will add a period where it needs to add a period. So you want to be like that because, again, you're going to get on a phone call. Your client has probably done his research. They're going to say, hey, I love your post about this. Tell me how you worked with this client that you didn't name, but that you achieved, 5-figure revenue for them in month 2. All of that. And you have to be able to answer, not just, oh, let me find it. No, it should be, oh, instantaneously. This client, yeah, no problem. And then go into it. People can see through it. I'm sure all of you can see through it on your LinkedIn feeds. It's all slop, and you don't want to come off as sloppy. The future is going to belong to the people that are able to utilize all of the tools we talked about, AI tools, Airtable, Trello, Slack, communication tools, and have the knowledge and have the desire and have the willpower to win, right? The hot word right now is agency, right? Do you have the agency to do this, right? The agency not as let's build an agency, but the agency to execute, the agency to take what used to take months and cost tens of thousands of dollars. And now the cost is so low you can experiment because it's one, it's a write off. Two, you can see what works and what doesn't. And three, the cost of failure is extremely low, right? See what's going to work with you, see what's going to work for your clients. Yeah, but personal branding, it's the most important. It's you have to do it. You can go on to Medium, but in my experience, people have low attention spans. So the long form blog posts, you can have it. I don't know if anyone's going to read it. You can repurpose your content from LinkedIn to X. X is a whole different ball game. I've found the most success though for my largest client is that we post twice a day on LinkedIn, separated by 8 hours, so the algorithm refreshes. 10:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. EST time. Same thing on X. Same post, or just repurposed a little bit. Those two platforms doing it consistently drive all the revenue and drive over 1 million impressions just for that one client per month. Okay, not including all the other clients I do stuff with. but over 1 million impressions, right? And the content's not long form. It's not cringe. It's useful. It's helpful. It's for startup founders. It's for aspiring founders. It's for venture capitalists. It's for aspiring venture capitalists. And it works. So many people drop things on LinkedIn and it doesn't work. So many people just post once a week, doesn't work, or they have a newsletter that has 5 subscribers and they send out an issue once every 2 months and it doesn't work. You have to be on point with it, and you have to have good content, and you have to have engaging content, and it just you have to do it. It's that simple. You can't afford not to, unless you're someone that again already is super successful and you already have enough business and you don't care. I mean, I have a lot of people that are entrepreneurs in the true sense that I know them. We work on different things. They don't care about content. They already doing millions of dollars a month. They don't want to be seen as having that presence. They don't need it, right? They're very protective of it. So yeah, content, got to do it. Need help? DMs are open. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the chat. If there's any last questions, we've got 3 minutes left, and I'll use them all. Thank you, Kevin. The LinkedIn content is gold, pun intended. Yeah, smash that like button. Like, share, and subscribe. All that cringeworthy, ick-worthy influencer stuff. Any last questions? Because we got 3 minutes left. I'm running out of things to talk about, but I'll keep talking, and I'll be happy to answer them. Any tips you can share in the LinkedIn algorithm? Sure. Good question. Again, if you're going to post twice a day, spread it out like 8 to 10 hours. Posting twice a day, it does work. You get different audiences, but don't expect your second post to go viral if your first one does. What I've seen, and this also happens on X, is that there will be a period where you'll get all these crazy impressions and go viral. So, for instance, on my LinkedIn, I have around 6,100 connections, right? I'll have a post go viral to me, which will get like 50,000 impressions, right? Pretty good. After that, the next post won't even break 1,000. Why? Because the algorithm doesn't want to showcase just one person to everybody. It always switches it up. So if you have people that don't understand LinkedIn, but they want your agency to be like, I want to go viral and get 5 million views, it's impossible. Okay. It only happens if you're posting consistently because it loves engagement and if it resonates, right? I've tried it with pictures. Pictures don't really have the intended effect. I've tried it with videos, they don't have the intended effect. It's really text-based LinkedIn content that works. 5 days a week at the minimum. If you want to do 5 days a week, you can't go less than 3. Anything less than 3 doesn't move the needle. 5 is like the bare minimum that I recommend. I'll do 3 to 5, or I just won't work the client. Weekends, I only do it with one client. Again, same client. We do twice, Saturday, Sunday. Nothing really goes crazy. They have about 36,000 connections on LinkedIn. Sometimes they only get like 900 impressions on a weekend. It happens to everybody. So don't beat yourself up for it. And if someone just started their content on LinkedIn, how long would it take to go viral? There's really no answer to that, to be honest. You have to keep posting daily good content. With one agency I worked with, he had 20,000 connections and he stopped for like 4 months, right? I said, okay, we're restarting it. I'm going to write the content. No problem. So the first month he kept complaining. I'm only getting hundreds and hundreds. I should be getting tens of thousands. I said, listen, you stopped. Okay. If you stop, you have to start up again because the algorithm kind of wrote you off. And that was in December. Now it's April, right? He gets some of his posts get 20, 30,000 impressions. He closed 2 new big clients out of it, from the content I wrote. So it just takes time. Okay. It's a very simple thing to do, to write, copy, and paste if you're not writing it in LinkedIn box. I personally write it in a Google Doc. I check for grammar, copy, paste. Let's say, but Sean, I'm so busy with my agency and building pipeline and doing everything. I just don't have the time. Okay, there's a tool called Hype Theory. Love Hype Theory. $30 a month. You can schedule all your LinkedIn posts a month in advance with the hashtags and everything. You can also schedule them to X. So all you got to do is copy and paste. Take out the hashtags when you're doing it to X. Very simple. You'll have a month's worth of content already done. If you can get a month's worth of content, I recommend having 2 weeks out. When I say with every client, you don't want to be stuck in a lurch because if you miss a day, fine. If you miss a week, it's not good. You have to keep doing it. So there's one more question. If there's others asked, I will answer. Okay. Also, anything on LinkedIn DM strategies. I see a lot of content around using DMs to get meetings booked. It's a lot of manual work, and following up to move convos down the pipeline is tedious. I don't want to do cheap automations, but some way to make easier would be great or semi-automated. Okay. really, again, it's very tough. It is tedious. There's a client I work with that I don't work with him, I work with his vice president. But he basically turned LinkedIn into his revenue driver. Okay. He made LinkedIn bring all his clients in and he built his company into $20 million company. How did he do it? Well, he would write on LinkedIn every day, and everybody that connected with him or commented within 60 days, he would send them the same message, maybe tailored to them, offering them a free demo of his service. That's what he did. I'm sure there was an automation tool, but with things like that, it's a strict copy and paste. Take 5 minutes a day and do it. Take 10 minutes a day. Have an executive assistant do it 10 minutes a day. Just make sure that it's not cringeworthy. Make sure that it's something that's humanized. Again, going back to ChatGPT, nobody uses the word moreover. And the one sin that I see everyone doing on LinkedIn that makes you want to jump through the screen and punch them is curious. Whenever I talk with another human being, not a single person ever says, I'm curious how to do it. But on LinkedIn, curious on your service provider, curious on what you're doing, curious on your outreach strategy, curious on your steps. Nobody talks like that. Normal people say, I'm wondering about this, or I wanted to ask you a question. So again, if you're using curious, stop. We can see through it. Again, going back to your question, was that was a service provider or SaaS? That was a SaaS company, is a SaaS company. So yeah, any other questions, I'll answer them. If not, I'm going to add my LinkedIn once again in the chat. Feel free to connect. Drop me a connection request saying that you were here. There's nothing there, I ignore you. Just how it is. I have hundreds of pending connection requests because nobody tells me what they do. They just sit there and they ignore me. They won't take 5 seconds to be like, Sean, you're funny. Done. That's all you got to say. Sean, I was at this talk. Done. So yeah, if there's no other questions, I want to thank Gig Raider. I want to thank all of you for coming. I hope you learned something. And again, it's pretty cringy, but smash that like button.
Thank
Cool.
you. Thank you. Wow, that was good. You nailed it. Thank you guys for your questions. Thanks again for spending time with us. I highly appreciate that. So the recording you can find in our events chat, and it will be published tomorrow. So and then everyone, if somehow you missed this, you can go back and watch this.